Hello, and welcome to the Park Podcast, the Mars Park SGA's podcast series. My name's Carson, and I'm a senior representative here at Mars Park. On today's episode, in celebration of Earth Day on April 22nd, we'll be discussing some methods to keep this Earth beautiful, and in some of our moments in nature.
So today we wanted to talk about some measures we could take to save the Earth or prevent further damage from happening to it. So in Spanish Today, we actually talked about how you can buy products that aren't packaged as much, that don't use as much plastic, and I think that's really important, especially like you could use a Hydro Flask or not use recycled bottles or plastic that might get thrown away, and the same goes for straws. So I think that little things like that are really important to the environment.
It's definitely all about making little lifestyle changes that can make such an impact on our world. I was watching a movie on Netflix called Seaspiracy, and it really opened my eyes to how damaging fishing and consuming fish can be to our Earth and our ecosystems. So I would really recommend watching that movie. It was just, I had no idea about what was going on, and I definitely will be at least limiting the amount of fish that I eat just because of that documentary, and I just thought it was really interesting.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Paige, because I feel like every single time I watch those documentaries where it talks about animals and their habitats being polluted, I always just feel so bad because sometimes they'll show things with animals that end up dying, and they'll open them up and they'll have swallowed a bunch of plastic, and it's such a sad reality of like what's actually going on in our world right now. But I think it's really eye-opening to changes that we have to make if we want to sustain our environment. So
another great thing that you can do just as we're approaching Earth Day and just in general, like any day of the year, is just pick up plastic. Where if you're on a vacation at the beach, I know there's a lot of plastic on the beach, and then also just around your neighborhood. There's someone on my street who's starting a plastic organization, and it's perfect timing as we're approaching Earth Day, but we've set out to start going on the weekends to go pick up plastic, and it's a great way to also just get service hours. I know for Mars Park students, if you're looking for service hours, picking up plastic or reaching out to organizations in Charlotte that also pick up plastic, you can just search it up, and I'm sure there's other places that do that, and it's a great way to get service hours while also helping the Earth.
Picking up plastic super important. A lot of people don't recycle their plastic bags, and I saw a documentary in my Earth Environmental class where they were talking about how plastic bags, when you put them in the trash, don't decompose until like 150 years to 100 years, and that can be a serious problem with wastelands and stuff like that. So make sure when you have a plastic bag you recycle it and reuse it.
Yeah, and another thing that we do right here at Mars Park is campus cleanups throughout the year. So if you're interested in those, you can definitely come sign up and help clean up the trash and keep the park beautiful.
Gosh, when it comes to recycling and throwing stuff away, I've always tended to, overlook that because you really don't know what happens, or you really don't think about, when you throw something in the garbage, what's going to happen after that. And you don't really think about the life cycle that your garbage goes through. And I know it sounds kind of silly, but, when you think about it, if you're throwing away a piece of plastic, that piece of plastic could travel around and, be kind of detrimental to, our Earth, which is, sad to think about. But I think, as we approach Earth Day, it's important to think about, ways that we can really think about how we can just better ourselves and better our, Earth and our atmosphere. And I think it's just good to be mindful about everything that we do. So me personally, I learned that I got to start throwing away bottle caps and not keep those on when I recycle bottles. That's kind of a resolution that I have. I think it's just nice to be mindful about, trying to sustain our planet for as long as we can and trying to keep it healthy for future generations. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's all about just being mindful to what every decision you make, like how it's affecting our world, because like he was saying, that little piece of trash could, like, where does that even go? And I've seen landfills, and it's really sad to see so much trash just like on our Earth.
there's so many little things that we can do. Also, like, you can carpool to school and like use less gas and less fuel and less vehicles. You can recycle. Don't waste paper, which has gotten easier, especially with online school. So we have a lot of stuff online instead of having to waste materials. Don't use straws. Buy from sustainable brands. And also fast fashion is a big one. So thrifting is a great way to reduce your footprint just because you're reusing clothing instead of buying from brands that are super fast fashion.
And that's a great point, Kate, because I have been thrifting a little bit myself recently, and I just got this beautiful Hawaiian shirt for like $3. So,
Let's go.
oh yeah, I'm looking to wear it sometime soon. This summer.
Save the earth in style.
Exactly.
Yeah, save the earth and style. That's great. What you said, because fast fashion, like, also just the major manufacturing. Like, when you think about when you order clothes or like you get your clothes, you expect it on such a high demand, and you never really think of like the alternative or like what it's doing to our planet. So that's a really good point that Kate mentioned. And also, just thinking about how nice it is outside in like springtime. This is a great time to start planting plants or be outside.
I agree with that there, Ann Gray. Our family, we actually just, now that it's springtime, we're looking to start growing some crops, I guess. We just built this huge garden in our backyard, and I think we're planning on planting some strawberries. What else we got? I think we got some lettuce, and that's about all I know. But it's been a cool project. I was helping my dad with it, and it looks really cool, so that'll be interesting. But I figured I'd share because it's very earthly. So.
Another great thing is hiking. It's finally getting nice enough to go on hikes with your friends or with your family. So Crowders, you could go there. Also, some of my favorite trips have been like in Moab and Utah, and also in Banff. I love like national parks, and they're so beautiful, and it's a really great way to stay active and also see a lot of cool things and arches and stuff like that.
Yeah, we just need to focus on not taking what we have for granted and making sure the generations that come after that after us will also be able to experience the amazing things that our Earth has. And just one last thing is to make sure you aren't like leaving on the lights or letting the water keep running when you're not using it, and stuff like that actually makes a really big difference.
Yeah, and something that's helped me appreciate nature more is just doing school outside. So if I'm online, like on Wednesdays we have online school, so if you could just go outside and do it in the sun, it just, I don't know, it releases a lot of serotonin for me, so I think that's really helpful.
Well, thank you to all of our listeners today and tuning into this Earth Day episode. So when Earth Day rolls around this year, how about everyone just tries to make sure to get outside, enjoy the fresh air, enjoy this wonderful spring of 2021, and let's try to appreciate everything that this Earth has given us, because it's just sure given us a lot. So,
And hug a tree today.
and that concludes this week's episode. It is so important to appreciate nature and take care of the world we are given. In order to stay updated with all things Mars Park, it's important to follow at Mars Park High School and at MPHS_SGA on Instagram. Also, sign up for the Mustang Express email chain to receive important information about Mars Park. You can subscribe to the MPHS PTSO website. If you have any questions you would like to add to the podcast, you can DM either Instagram account. We'll be back with another Mars Park High School Student Government podcast episode. We look forward to having you. Bye.